In today's English listening podcast, you will learn English slowly, naturally, and clearly. Not from rules, not from grammar books, but from a real human story. A deep story, full of emotions, struggle, creativity, and silent strength. Today's story is about Billie Eilish, a girl who did not try to be loud, who did not try to be perfect, who did not follow the world. Instead, she stayed quiet, she stayed different, she stayed real. And slowly, from a small bedroom with a simple microphone, she created music that touched millions of hearts around the world. As you listen, your English will improve, your listening will become stronger, and you will start understanding how real people speak, feel, and express. Now, take a slow breath, relax your mind, and let us begin her story from the very beginning. Billie Eilish was born on December 18, 2001 in Los Angeles, California, a city full of dreams, films, and music. But her childhood was not loud or glamorous. It was quiet, simple, and deeply creative. Her mother, Maggie Baird, was an actress and teacher, and her father, Patrick O'Connell, was also involved in acting. But more importantly, both of them believed in giving their children freedom, not pressure. Billie and her brother, Phineas O'Connell, were homeschooled, and this gave them something very special: time to explore. Instead of strict schedules, they spent their days reading, watching films, and creating, especially music. There was no competition, no need to be perfect, only space to understand themselves slowly. From a young age, Billie was very sensitive. She felt emotions deeply. Music became her safe place, a way to understand what she felt inside. At the age of 8, she joined a children's choir, and there she learned how to control her voice, how to sing softly, and how to feel every note, not just sing it. At home, music was always playing, from artists like the Beatles and Adele. Billie listened carefully, not just for fun, but to understand emotion in sound. Slowly, without any big dream of fame, music became a natural part of her life, something personal, something real. At that time, no one knew that this quiet girl, growing in a simple home, was slowly preparing for something much bigger, something that would soon begin very unexpectedly. In Billie's life, the most important person was her brother, Phineas O'Connell. He was not only family, he was her closest friend and slowly her creative partner. Phineas was already writing songs and learning music, and in one small bedroom of their house, he built a simple recording space with basic equipment, nothing professional but full of creativity. Billie spent a lot of time with him, listening, watching, and slowly understanding how songs are made. She felt comfortable around him. She could express her thoughts freely, without fear or judgment. This made their connection very strong, and that connection became the base of their music. Phineas noticed something special in Billie. Her voice was soft, emotional, and very honest, different from most singers. One day, Phineas wrote a song called Ocean Eyes. At first, it was not for Billie, it was meant for his own band. But when Billie tried singing it, everything changed. Her voice fit the song perfectly. It felt natural, almost like the song was waiting for her. In that moment, Phineas understood this was something special. They decided to record the song in that same small bedroom with simple tools, no big plan, no pressure, just pure feeling. For Billie, this was not the start of a career. It was just a moment of expression. But in reality, this small decision was about to change her entire life forever. After recording Ocean Eyes, Billie and Phineas O'Connell did not think about fame or success. For them, it was just a beautiful and honest song. Billie was still very young, only 14, living a quiet life and enjoying music in a simple way. There was no big plan behind the song, no team, no marketing, just a feeling they wanted to share. Phineas decided to upload the song on SoundCloud, a place where anyone can share music. At first, nothing special happened. The song was just one among many others, quiet, unnoticed. But slowly, a few people started listening and they felt something different. Billie's soft voice and the calm notion of the song touched them. Those listeners began sharing the song with others, and step by step, the number of listeners grew. Days passed, then weeks, and suddenly, more and more people were discovering Ocean Eyes. Music blogs started talking about it. People became curious, asking who this new voice was. Without any big effort, the song was spreading on its own. Soon, the song reached millions of streams, and Billie's voice traveled far beyond her small bedroom. For her, it was exciting but also confusing, because her life had not changed yet, but the world was slowly starting to notice her. This quiet upload, made without any expectation, became the first big turning point in her journey. As Ocean Eyes continued to grow, more and more people from the music world started noticing Billie. Managers, producers, and record labels became curious. They wanted to know who she was and what she could become. For Billie, this attention felt new and a little overwhelming, because not long ago, she was simply making music at home with Phineas O'Connell. Among these opportunities, one major label stood out: Interscope Records. They saw something unique in her, something fresh and different. But Billie and her family were careful. They did not want to rush, and they did not want her to lose her originality. After thinking deeply, she decided to sign with the label, but in her own way, with control over her music. Even after signing, she did not move to big studios. She stayed in her small home setup, working with Phineas just like before. This decision helped her stay real and protected her unique sound. Slowly, she began releasing more songs, each one showing her style: soft vocals, deep emotions, and a slightly dark tone that made people feel something real. At the same time, her life was changing step by step. Interviews began, new people entered her world, and expectations started growing. But inside, Billie was still the same quiet person, trying to understand everything. This phase became very important because she was learning how to be in the music industry without losing herself, and that balance would soon make her stand out even more. As Billie released more music, people began to notice something beyond her songs: her style, her presence, and the way she chose to show herself to the world. Billie Eilish did not follow the usual image of a pop star. She did not try to look perfect or fit into expectations. Instead, she made a very clear choice to be different on purpose. She wore oversized clothes, loose shirts, baggy pants, and bold colors, a style that felt unusual to many people. But for Billie, this was not just fashion, it was protection and a message. She did not want people to judge her body. She wanted them to listen to her music and understand her emotions. This simple decision became very powerful, especially for young people who felt pressure to look a certain way. At the same time, her personality felt real and unfiltered. In interviews, she spoke naturally, sometimes quiet, sometimes playful, but always honest. She did not try to sound perfect, and that made people trust her. Fans felt like she was not acting, she was just being herself, and that created a deep connection. Her videos also reflected this identity, often dark, emotional, and full of meaning. Instead of bright and glamorous visuals, she explored feelings like fear, loneliness, and inner thoughts. This made her work feel more personal, almost like she was sharing her mind with the audience. Slowly, Billie became more than a singer. She became a symbol of individuality. Some people loved her uniqueness, others did not understand it, but she did not change. She stayed consistent, and that quiet confidence made her stronger. By choosing to be herself, she showed the world that being different is not a weakness, it is a kind of power. In 2019, Billie Eilish released her first full album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? And this moment changed everything around her. Until now, she was known as a rising artist, someone different and interesting. But after this album, she became a global name, someone the whole world was watching and listening to. What made this album special was how it was created. Billie did not go to big studios. She stayed in her home, working with Phineas O'Connell, just like before. In that small bedroom, they created songs that felt quiet, deep, and very personal. There was no pressure to sound perfect, only a focus on emotion, and that made the music feel real. One song from the album, Bad Guy, became extremely popular. Its beat was playful and unusual, and Billie's voice was soft, almost like she was whispering. This contrast made the song stand out, and soon it reached #1 on the charts. Suddenly, her music was everywhere, and millions of people were listening to her voice every day. But the album was not only about one hit song, it was about a full emotional experience. Songs like Bury a Friend and When the Party's Over showed darker feelings, fear, loneliness, and deep thoughts. Instead of hiding these emotions, Billie shared them openly, and people connected with that honesty. This album proved something very important. You do not need to follow rules to succeed. A soft voice, simple production, and true emotion can reach people in a powerful way. And with this album, Billie did not just become famous, she changed how people see pop music forever. In 2020, Billie Eilish reached a moment that very few artists experience, the Grammy Awards. This was one of the biggest nights in the music industry, where the most successful artists are recognized. Billie was still very young, but she was nominated in many major categories, something already rare. As the night began, no one expected what was about to happen. One by one, her name was called. She won Album of the Year, Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best New Artist, all in the same night. This had not happened in many years, and for someone her age, it was historic. She became one of the youngest artists ever to achieve this level of success. But what made this moment special was not only the awards, it was her reaction. Billie did not act like a typical superstar. She looked surprised, almost uncomfortable, as if she did not believe she deserved it more than others. On stage, she spoke honestly, even saying that other artists should have won. This humility made people respect her even more. For the world, this was proof that Billie was not just different, she was truly important. Her music, her style, and her honesty had reached the highest level. But inside, she was still the same person, quiet, thoughtful, and still trying to understand everything happening around her. This night changed how people saw her. She was no longer just a rising star. She was now one of the biggest artists in the world. And with that success came something new: pressure, expectations, and challenges that she had never faced before. After her big success at the Grammy Awards, life for Billie Eilish changed in a deeper way. She was now one of the most famous young artists in the world, and everywhere she went, people were watching her, talking about her, and expecting something from her. Fame was no longer exciting in a simple way. It started to feel heavy, like a constant pressure. Billie began to feel overwhelmed at times because her life was no longer private. Every action, every word, every decision was seen by millions of people. For someone who was naturally quiet and sensitive, this was not easy. She spoke openly about her mental health, about feeling sad, confused, and sometimes lost, even while being successful. But instead of hiding these struggles, she chose to share them. Through her music and in interviews, she talked honestly about depression, pressure, and the difficulty of growing up in public. This honesty made her even more real to her fans because many people felt the same emotions but could not express them. At the same time, Billie continued creating music with Phineas O'Connell, and that connection helped her stay grounded. That small creative space which started everything became her safe place again, where she could forget the outside world and just be herself. This phase of her life showed something important. Success does not remove struggle. Even when everything looks perfect from the outside, inside, a person can still be fighting quiet battles. And by sharing her truth, Billie helped others understand that it is okay to feel lost sometimes, even when you are strong. As time passed, Billie Eilish slowly began to change. Not suddenly, but step by step. She was no longer the same teenager who recorded songs in her bedroom without thinking about the world. Now she had experience, success, and also pain, and all of this started shaping her into a more mature artist. In 2021, she released her second album, Happier Than Ever, and this album showed a different side of her. The sound was still emotional, still honest, but it felt more controlled, more thoughtful. The title track, Happier Than Ever, begins very soft and calm, almost like a quiet conversation, but slowly it becomes powerful and intense, full of emotion. This change in the song reflected her own journey from silence to strength. The album talked about deeper topics, relationships, fame, expectations, and personal growth. Billie was no longer just expressing feelings, she was understanding them, and that made her music feel more mature. Listeners could feel that she was growing, not only as an artist, but also as a person. During this time, she also worked on a very important project, the theme song for the James Bond film No Time to Die. This was a big responsibility because such songs are part of cinema history. But Billie handled it with her own style, soft, emotional, and powerful in a quiet way. The song later won major awards, including an Oscar, showing that her music could reach beyond pop into something timeless. This phase of her life was about transformation, learning from experience, and finding a stronger voice. She was no longer just the different young artist, she was becoming someone with depth, control, and long-term impact. And slowly, she was proving that her journey was not temporary, it was only growing stronger with time. Today, Billie Eilish is not just a successful artist, she's a voice that has changed how people see music and even how people see themselves. Her journey from a small bedroom studio to global stages is not only about fame, it is about honesty, courage, and staying true to who you are. What makes Billie special is not only her sound, but her message. She showed the world that you do not need to be loud to be heard. You do not need to be perfect to be loved, and you do not need to follow others to succeed. Her soft voice, her simple style, and her deep emotions created a new space in music where people feel understood. Through her journey, she faced success, pressure, criticism, and personal struggles, but she did not lose herself. She continued creating music with Phineas O'Connell the same way she started, with honesty and connection. That consistency became her strength. Her influence goes beyond songs. She inspired millions of young people to accept themselves, to express their feelings, and to understand that being different is not a weakness. It is something powerful, something meaningful. And when we look at her story, one simple truth becomes clear. Success is not only about talent, it is about being real, again and again, even when the world is watching. Billie Eilish did not try to change herself to fit the world. Instead, she stayed herself, and slowly the world changed to listen to her. And as you finish this story, you also learn something important. English is not only words, it is feeling, it is expression. And when you listen with patience, step by step, you begin to understand not just the language, but the life behind it.